Hello and welcome to Forever Olympics on Forever Sports and the start of our official Olympic coverage. Team SA actually gets underway today, despite the opening ceremony only being tomorrow. But our men's under 23 football side will get things underway for Team South Africa. And basically over the next 2-3 days, we're going to be sort of introducing the team. Well, in fact, pretty much today we're going to be introducing the team. And then tomorrow, before the opening ceremony even gets underway, we're going to be releasing a video on the top 5 medal hopes for Team South Africa. There are some really, really good athletes here. And I think it'll be quite interesting to sort of see how, a lot of the main people do. But also, if you might get a couple of surprises, you've got quite a few people, for example, in the skateboarding, which is a new addition to the event, as well in surfing, for example, So it should be quite an interesting games. It's a very, very controversial Olympics at the moment, isn't it? With all the quite a few cases breaking out within the Olympic Village stuff. Like a lot of people saying that the game should not be taking place, and so little hype about them. I suppose the fact that it gets away tomorrow, nobody really still seems to care. There's no fans or anything like that. So I don't think it won't be sort of go down as one of the best games ever. But I mean, it's the reality we're in. I think most sporting events at the moment are a bit like that, where we're kind of saying, we're happy that they're going ahead so we can watch them, but it's not quite the same. But, for in terms of Team South Africa, it's the biggest team we've ever sent to an Olympics. A total, I think, of 166 athletes have actually gone over to Tokyo. 177 athletes have gone over to Tokyo. We've got 63 women and 114 men who have gone across, including quite a few of our teams, for example. Both our hockey sides have gone over, rugby sevens, both water polo teams as well. So we're going to be doing it in 2 parts today. And today we're sort of going to be looking more to the team sport stuff, and we're going to include swimming into that. And then we'll be sort of moving to, and then when we come back for part 2, which will also be up later today, we'll be looking at sort of more the individual events, stuff like that, and people you can look out for tomorrow. And then if you want to sort of see which are the athletes to watch, we'll be doing a video tomorrow on the top 5 medal hopes. Obviously, something like Wade van Niekerk's definitely up there. Our sevens team, that kind of thing. We're going to be talking about sort of what their chances are, what their form's like, what we can sort of expect from them. And then once the Olympics officially gets underway, the opening ceremony is tomorrow. We're going to be doing a daily update, basically. So first of all, on our social media stuff like that, if you want to follow me, Steve P Sports, I'm going to be doing every day. I'm going to be putting out exactly who's in action where and what to look out for. So you can check out for that, and then we'll be doing sort of daily update every single day, talking you through who's been involved, who's got heats, who's upcoming, what way to watch, who to watch out for, what we've been doing, stuff like that. So if you want to make sure that you're informed about what's happening with Team South Africa, smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel as well. It's the Olympics, so it only lasts for the next sort of I think it's about 16 days. I think it finishes on like the 6th, 7th of August. It really isn't a long time. So if you want to make sure you're informed, then smash the like button and subscribe to the channel as well. So we're going to start with our aquatics, which is quite a few different sort of people in and involved. Obviously, we've got our swimmers who will be in the pool. But then we've also got people doing artistic swimming and diving in open water. So artistic swimming is going to be the pair of Clarissa Johnston and Laura Strignall. So they're together. They'll be competing in the artistic swimming as a duo there. Then we've got 2 divers in Michaela Bota and Julia Vincent, and we've got 1 person who will be doing the open water swim. That will be Michael McLean. But it's the pool where Team South Africa have always sort of competed quite well. You think about that gold medal back in Athens. You think of Chad Leclos and his heroics against Michael Phelps back in 2012 at the London Olympics. So this is some iconic moments which have been made in the pool. And if we're looking at the 2 teams, your 2 people to watch is obviously Chad Leclos, and then South Africa's queen of breaststroke, Tatiana Schoonmaker, who is going to be doing the 100-meter breaststroke as well as the 200-meter breaststroke. I think she's actually a genuine medal hope, so she's definitely worth watching. Chad Leclos is going to be doing obviously his butterfly events, 100-meter butterfly as well as the 200-meter butterfly. But we've got a couple of people who are doing a couple of events. Matthew Sates is going to be doing the 100-meter butterfly as well as with Chad Leclos, and also the 200-meter individual medley, which I think is probably the worst event in the world. I don't know why you'd want to do something like that to yourself. But looking at looking at the swimmers there and stuff like that, somebody to look out for is Ethan Dupree is doing the 200-meter butterfly as well. So we've got quite a few people in the butterfly event. Martin Benedal will be doing the 200-meter backstroke. And then in terms of the women, so Tatiana Schoonmaker will be 100-meter breaststroke, 200-meter breaststroke as well. We're also going to be having a 4x200-meter freestyle relay for the women, which will be made up of the likes of Amy Canny, Erin Gallagher, Tatiana Schoonmaker, and Marily Fenter. So I mean, if you want to watch, relays are always quite a fun watch. So keep an eye out for them. But Chad Leclos and Tatiana Schoonmaker are your sort of Tatiana Schoonmaker are your are your big watchers there in the pool. Expecting big things from both of them. Chad Leclos. It's difficult, because you've got some fantastic athletes. But I mean, Karen van den Berg was always somebody who held the flag up high. I mean, but Chad Leclos is probably one of our best Olympic athletes ever. If you're looking at his record, he's got a gold medal, 3 silver medals. He's got 4 World Championship titles. 7 Olympic, Commonwealth golds. He's been a bit of our golden boy for the swimming generation. He's 29 years old at the moment, so sort of coming into his peak. It'll sort of be interesting to sort of see how he does this Olympic stuff like that. But he's always a medal hope there. Sticking into the pool, but looking more to the teams, are our water polo side. It's good to see water polo making a return for both sides, and it's quite interesting if you're looking at the two teams. The men's team far more experienced. They've got an average age of 26 years old. Your experienced players there to watch out. Something like Don Stewart, who's actually 40 years old, has got over 90 caps for that national side. So watch out for him. He's going to be quite an important player for the water polo side. A couple of youngsters to watch out for as well. Something like Ross Stone is 21 years old. Yassine Margot is 22. Nicholas Rodda is 21. Some of the more experienced players, something like Devin Card is quite experienced, got 60 caps there, as well as Ignatius Badenhorst has got 61 caps. Yeah, so an average age of sort of 26 years. The average amount of appearances they've got for their water polo side is 33. So it's quite experienced, which is a complete contrast to our women's water polo side, whose current average age is 22 years and 322 days. Less than 23 years old is that women's side there, and I think that's. I mean, how amazing is that that the women's side has literally got an average age of 22 years old. I mean, it's sublime. You've got 2 teenagers, 2 18-year-olds in Boata Mato, as well as Jordan Vedderburn, 18 years old at the Olympics, for water polo. I mean, what an incredible opportunity. I mean, they could go on to sort of make what? I mean, at 18, I mean, the Olympics is in 3 years' time. So 2 years' time, I suppose. So then they can go on to make potentially, 3, 4 Olympic games, 4, 5, even if they're going to go out to play like 40, like somebody in the men's side. So it's a very, very inexperienced team. If you're looking at the caps, it's a lot of people sort of sitting in the low tees, stuff like that. The oldest person in the squad is Megan Salino, who's 32 years old. That's the oldest. She's the only person who's over 30. But apart from that, most people, 18, 20, 22, a very, very young side. So it's exciting. I don't think we can expect too much for them. But it's exciting for them to get a go and to be able to go over there and get that experience. And so hopefully, maybe if it's not, amazing results now, it's something that we can look forward to the future. Good to see the hockey making its return as well. Both our women's side as well as our men's side will be over there, and it's good to see because how often these teams qualify, but then because they don't have the funding and they don't have the money to be able to go. They just don't get to go, and I think it's really, really poor that it's really frustrating when you look at SASCOC, and how often they fund, how much money they put into like football, for example, when you think you've got the entire BSL, there's so much money in football anyway, and then you got SASCOC funding football, which doesn't really make sense, and then you can't have teams like our men's and women's hockey you can go over and play. But if you're looking at the men's side, look out for Erasmus Peterson, or Erasmus Peterson as he's known. He is hugely experienced. Well over 100 caps for South Africa. He's 37 years old, the goalkeeper. He's a brilliant player. Really is very impressive. Timothy Drummond is the captain today for the games. Look up for Austin Smith, who's also previously captained the side. 2 very experienced players as well. Tane Payton, something like Clinton Panthers, very experienced. And in terms of sort of exciting players to watch, the youngest player in that squad is Mustafa Kasim, who's actually 19, so it's another teenager there to look out for. Somebody like Keenan Hord's also somebody quite exciting to look out for. So. It's fun, even if you don't watch hockey, it's nice, when it comes to the Olympic Games to be able to sort of turn on and be like, well, this is what our hockey side's about, and sort of look at some of these players and stuff like that. But as I said, Rassi Peterson is somebody really worth looking out for. They'll be in action on Saturday, I think, their first game is up against Great Britain, which is quite a big ask for them. In the women's, the very experienced players are something like Lisa Marie Dietlefs. She's got so many caps. She's 33 years old. She is, probably one of the centerpieces in that women's side. Erin Christie will be the captain of the side. 29 years old. Quite a few caps under her belt as well. But, the experienced players, somebody like Celia Siran is there. Lillian Duplessis is quite experienced. Juanita Bobbs is very experienced. But you've also got some very exciting young people, and it's good to see, that in all squads there's a decent element of youth, going forward. So like somebody like Lorata Maholo, she's 21 years old, and Edith Moleko is also 21 years old. So quite a few youngsters. I think Untatila Zulu is also 21. So it's good to see that there's a sort of a nice mix. Whilst our women's water polo, for example, is very, very young, in our men's and women's side, it's got quite a nice mix of experience and stuff like that. The women's hockey that will be up against Ireland also on the 24th of July. So we'll have to wait and see how they get on. Moving on, it is the football / and the rugby boys. So Ronwen Williams is the captain of Team South Africa Football under 23s. They are actually today, even before the opening ceremony starts. So they will be the first. They'll be the first of a lot of Team South Africa to get underway. The captain will be Ronwen Williams, the SuperSport United goalkeeper. He's 29 years old, so he's one of the few players over 29 you're allowed to have. So there'll be big things expected for him, because I think when you sort of choose which of those players you're going to take, it's expected that you will sort of pitch up and you'll do well. Someone to look out for me is somebody like Lyle Foster, who's 20 years old, and he's the youngest man in the squad. Plays his football overseas for Vitória Guimarães over there in Portugal. He was actually previously contracted at Monaco. So he's going to want to watch. Quite a few players playing overseas. Somebody like Kumamela Kudisang, who plays in club in Braga, there in Portugal. So they'll probably be one of the more watched teams in the competition. We kind of never really have too many high hopes of them. They're up against Japan in the first game. They're then taking on France, and then they face Mexico on the 28th of July, which will be their last pool game. So big ask for them. They have to finish top 2 to be able to advance to the knockout stages. But then probably one of our best medal hopes is our men's 7 teams, who will be led by Saviwa Sheikh's Soyazwapi, who is currently 28 years old. Lots and lots of points for the Blitzboks. But look out for those big names. The likes of Justin Cadal, Branko de Prier. They've both got over 1,000 points for the Blitzboks. In terms of the youngsters to look out for, Angelo Davids is 22 years old, but he's already amassed quite a few caps and a lot of points. He's sort of broken through really well. Sako Makata is somebody who's quite new to the side as well, but they've got plenty of experience. Stephen Khans, the Bulls outside centre. Good to see that he's going to get a run out there. Curtly Orenser, the Bulls wing, also a very exciting player. We've got 3 Davids to watch out. There's just a lot of talent in this side, and I think you've got Ruan now has gone over as a reserve, which kind of shows you the sort of quality and stuff like that. The biggest problem with the Rugby Sevens at the moment is that Neopal is currently in quarantine and will not actually be able to take the side moving forward. In terms of their groups, they are lumped together with South Africa, United States, Kenya, and Ireland. So not the easiest side. United States are a very good side. Kenya Sevens are pretty decent, and Ireland are quite new to the 7 circuit, but definitely sort of looking to try and break through and make quite a big difference. But they'll get underway. I think it's next weekend. I think it's on the 26th of July, the first sort of matches. So it's next week Monday. I think it starts. We're going to be trying to sort of be live for those matches. We're working out how we're going to cover the 7s exactly. But obviously, as a big rugby is a big focus on the channel, that's something we want to look out quite a lot. But those are sort of the first couple of names, stuff like that, and the team stuff. We'll be releasing the schedules as well as all these names on our social media, so you can go follow us on Forever Sports on Instagram as well as Twitter and Facebook and stuff like that. As I said, we'll be giving you sort of, once the Olympic Games really get underway, we'll be giving you daily updates on exactly what's going on with Team SA. And I don't know if anybody else is doing it, but it's certainly something new for us as the channel. We want to try and keep people informed. People seem very keen for us to try and cover it, so we'll do our best to try and do it justice. Thank you very much for watching. Please do smash the like on the video, subscribe to the channel as well. My name is Steven, and I'll chat to you guys all very, very soon.